We have come to a very important session of the day, a panel discussion on the new paradigm of education, convergence of digital and physical education, and emergence of Hyþěx model. And we have leading educators of the country here with us, along with industry experts. May I request Christopher Short, Managing Director, Nord Anglia Education, to come on stage, please. A huge round of applause for him, please. We're also joined by Mr. N. Nagarajan, National Head Academics India, Global India International School, Bangalore. We welcome Mr. Nagarajan as well. We're also joined by Dr. Samiullah, CEO, Manipal Academy of Health and Education, Bangalore. We welcome Dr. Sami. We're also joined by Hardeep Bakshi, Chairman, Seeding Group of Schools. Is he here? Yeah, he's here. We are also joined by Shazia Ahmed, Director, Aryan Presidency School, Bengaluru. We welcome Ms. Shazia. We are also joined by Preetham Kumar Agarwal, Founder, Hello Kids chain of preschools and Riverstone Schools, VP and core committee member, ECA India. We welcome Mr. Preetham. We are also joined by Dr. Hemlata S. Murthy, Principal Director, White Petals Group of Schools, Bengaluru. We welcome Dr. Hemlata. We are also joined by Chirag Agarwal, Founder Director, Early Ventions Chain of Preschools, Mangalore. And we are also joined by Godhuli Kumar, Business Head, BNPL from 5. As we all know that the education sector over the years, especially in last 2-3 years, has seen paradigm shift, uh, convergence of digital and physical education. At the same time, the popular coin is now Hyþěx model, and you are the leading educators of the country. But I'll start with the other side. That is not the good side of this, but about the challenges. So, if I may start with Christopher, uh, what are going to be the challenges when it comes to uh, Hyþěx model, or do you at all see any challenges are there, or everything is fine? Your take on that?
I think we saw the challenges through the pandemic. We didn't have a choice at the time, so we sort of made it work. Really, I found it really interesting. I was talking to somebody earlier that I was doing a course. I moved here from Shanghai 3 months ago. I was doing a course last year, a UK-based course, and the schools in the UK were still very much into dealing with COVID. The schools in Shanghai at that time, it changed later, had come out of COVID, and they were sort of asking me, how are you coping? And I sort of gave them what I thought was quite depressing news, that we seem to have sort of jumped back to the world before. Now, of course, we hadn't. We had picked up various skills. We had looked carefully at things that we could do in different ways, and we could use technology. I was telling a story last night that I used to fly for a budget meeting for 2 hours and fly home again, and we don't do that anymore. That's a bit daft because we can do that in another way. So I think the ideal is, I think, still to be around a physical structure in some sort of way, which I think is why the Hyþěx has come out. I think in terms of the technology side, as we learnt, it's access to technology, of course, and it's that sort of skills gap, if you like. What are the background of people that are using this? Lots of people have upskilled very quickly during 2020. I was interested earlier that two of the first set of panelists talked about people not looking at their phones when they were talking. And I was looking at my phone at the time because I was making notes, but I realised it looked like I was texting my mother or something, or whatever it might be. And I've been in that situation before. So that for me shows that sort of difference. We do have to look at things at different ways. The phone will do lots of things for us. But I think the biggest challenge of being remote or of having some sort of Hyþěx approach is what Sir John Jones calls the magic weaving of teaching. So teaching is about inspiring. We had it in the first panel, and it is about opening up eyes, and it is about pointing people towards, whatever they might want to do in life, things that they may not even have thought of. And it's how we harness that. That's what we lost, I think, when we've been working remotely. How do we make sure that that magic weaving still comes through, and the teacher is an integral part of the education process?
Right. Interesting take by Christopher. Uh, teacher's role will be important, and how teacher's role is evolved in this new setup. That's also a interesting take. Let's have a take from Mr. N. Nagarajan. Your take on this. When it comes to the HyFlex model or the convergence of digital and physical model, what are the main challenges do you see? Do you agree with what Christopher has said, or do you have
Yeah,
some?
I fully agree with him. But from Indian context, I wanted to put forward some challenges, mainly on orienting the IT infrastructure and seamless internet connectivity. And we have diversity, unity in diversity. So how do we bring all multilingual aspect to HyFlex model and orienting parents and teachers and students? Because there are multiple challenges here. The parents, you would have seen in regular online classes during pandemic, parent interference to the teachers really was bothering us, and attention span of students. How do we engage children through gamification? So we need to be very creative in order to retain the strategy for about 40 minutes. So that is something very important. And above all, the very very important challenge is the course content, because teacher is very much used for this conventional class which we call physical classes. The moment you get into HyFlex, it can be synchronous, asynchronous, and then some children will be here, some children will be online outside. And how does the teacher seamlessly take everybody onto the same page and continuously engage? So teacher has to be a kind of ashtavdani. So balancing everything is the biggest challenge, for which we need to strengthen our training modules, and course content is very very important, because it should be seamless. In a classroom setup, a teacher can deliver on so many things seamlessly, because the teacher has the content, and the delivery is also possible here, also possible. But how does the teacher connect with all these people, bringing the emotional aspect into this? That's a challenge. For this, we need to have a curated content which is having a lot of micro schedule, proper session plan, proper engagement in terms of fixing the learning gaps during teaching learning process. So these are the challenges, but I am sure in a year or two, these challenges can be mitigated comfortably by our excellent training modules and course content.
Right. Interesting take. Curated content, training of teachers, and also the IT infrastructure. If I take a crux of what you said, let's have a perspective from Dr. Samiullah, CEO of Manipal Academy of Health and Education, Bangalore. Dr. Sami, your take on this. Uh, Mr. Nagarajan has talked about the curated content, IT infrastructure, and also training of workforce. That can be teachers, that can be even the non-teaching administrative staff. And Christopher also talked about the teaching perspective. Your take on this?
See, these are the major parts. If you really see, Christopher has covered.
Okay,
and,
then let me ask you a
yeah.
different question. First two speakers spoke about challenges. How do you think that those challenges can be addressed or mitigated? Let me put in that way.
See, basically, as I said, first one, how to mitigate is the teachers, trained teachers. We have seen during our pandemic also how, suddenly there was a tsunami of pandemic, and how we quickly shifted from the traditional method to a digital method. And we saw a lot of challenges. We had to train the teachers how to use the technical tools to deliver their material. Uh, there again, we had challenges how to change the curriculum, the content part, how to, it is not the same, curriculum that we teach physically will be applicable even in the digital space. So it has to become more engaging. The child should actually get motivated to learn, which is a very, very big challenge. A teacher teaching, a faculty teaching, and we have around 30, 40 students, learners. And in that particular window, you can hardly see 5, 6, and the rest are not visible. So how could you keep them engaged? Here, the teacher, the faculty plays a very, very big role. Uh, they have to keep it, very engaging. They have to keep the students engrossed. And the biggest factor to correct all this was the technology challenge. How to mitigate the technology. One side, you should be equipped enough to have that video conferencing tools. You should have the camera well, microphone well, and the other side of the node, we have student who has low connectivity, perhaps he doesn't have a device, proper device. So all these have to, I mean, we have seen, after that we have come a long way. So besides this, how do we design a curriculum to mitigate this curriculum part? So we have to be very clear of what kind of objective we have, what is the strategy we need to utilize to make it more engaging, to make sure that it's an experiential part. We heard enough about this in the previous panel also, how the course like medical could be done in a very engaging and simulating part. So same thing we have to implement that, ensure the proper monitoring is happening, evaluation of it through proper assessments. So now we are entering into a part where it's not purely digital. We have a hybrid kind. That's why we are talking about Hyþlex. This is Hyþlex jargons also. If you see every day we hear new IT jargons. They are good sellers actually. If you see this IT technology people, every time they come with new ones. I wish we take one such card from them to sell our admissions. So I think we have one panel only on admissions. So how the last we heard was only 21st century skills is the one. After that, we haven't found any new jargon like that. So yes, these are all, but ultimately, what is the purpose we should understand? The enabler, even if we're talking about technology, is it to save cost on the student support? Are we talking for that? Or is it to make it convenient for both the teachers and the student? Make it little more, if you see, uh, through convenience, through sitting at home anytime, through their own pace, any place. So is it convenience is the second, or is it going to be the effectiveness of the delivery in terms of quality kind of delivery, the time, and is it going to be the kind of content that we are going to deliver? So these are the major factors we need to consider even if we are shifting towards a better technology. So that's my take.
I'll take a cue from what Dr. Sami has said. I saw when you were speaking, Godhuli was smiling for once because you talked about the challenges of technology. Since Godhuli is representing an IT company, let's go beyond the jargons, as you have said, and let's ask her that what has been the digital transformation journey of Five as a company, if I say, and how it is helping the institutions, education institutions, when it comes to taking the education institutions to the next level in terms of digital interventions. And do you think the challenges which are rightly said, these challenges are there, accessibility, connectivity, all challenges are there. How do you see a company like yours can actually help the organizations in their digital transformation journey? I think it's working. Hello, hello. Is it working? Hello. Yeah.
Hi, thank you first of all for letting me be a part of this panel. Unlike everybody else, I'm not really from the education segment, but we do work with a lot of educators today. Five, just for your introduction, is a registered NBFC with RBI, and we have been working in the lending space for the past 7 years. We work with various segments today. We work in insurance, we work in healthcare, we work in a lot of travel and e-commerce space. About 2 years back, we also started working in the education space, and that's actually in the crack of COVID when people were, looking at a lot of upskilling as the most important thing at that moment, and people needed a financial option to go ahead and do that upskilling. Because people didn't want to block their cash flow at that time, and that is when we came in very handy, right from going ahead and financing these courses to financing the digital resources like laptops and other things that people would need to take these courses was something that we were doing hugely at that point. And from starting with skill upgradation to working with various schools and universities today, with a lot of ERP players today, what we are doing is we're trying to enable schools to be able to provide, first of all, the education in an easy format to parents, because parents post-COVID don't want to go ahead and block the entire year's cash flow in one go. It becomes very difficult. I mean, I stay in a society, I meet a lot of friends who have children, who have 2 children, and it becomes a burden to go ahead and pay everything in one go. And that's when a financer like us can come into picture and say that, okay, you just worry about the admission, and you go ahead and pay this fee today and give it back to the financer in easy installments. If you go into the market, everything from a fridge to a TV is available on finance. Then why shouldn't school fee be available is what is the challenge that we took up at that point. Today we work with a lot of schools, a lot of ERP players. We are empowering them to help parents to take this in EMI, not only the education fee, but also the devices, also any kind of thing that the school is providing to be able to empower students to be able to take these courses is something that we finance. You can read a lot about us online. My team is here. We have a panel outside where you can come and we can tell you how we are transforming this. We are very different from a traditional lending company or a bank because whatever we do today is completely digital. Within minutes of a parent inquiring for an admission, we can convert that into a actual admission with immediate financial aid for the parent. And I was reading somewhere about a digital campus also. I feel a lot of students today want to take up some extra courses, but say don't have the financial aid. But if they have a digital platform where they can inquire about players like us in the market, it would be easy for them to educate their parents where they can get this kind of facility to take up these courses.
Right. We touched upon one of the important aspects of financing education, and it's being done through a digital mode, which is again helping a lot of parents in schools as well. It's a hard reality post-COVID that there are cash crunch with families, and I think a company like yours is helping them. But and again, the backbone is technology. We talked about the challenges. Let me take from Mr. Hardeep Bakshi. Uh, you heard about the challenges and also another aspect of technology, finance tech, if I can say so. But uh, when you talk about digital campuses or the HyＦlex model, what kind of opportunity actually it brings us for the next generation students or the next generation educators? Your thoughts on that?
You mean when you go to the Hyflix model, what are the opportunities for educators as such, or for the
For the both, be it educators or the students,
See,
or whether
yeah.
at all it poses any opportunity. It's full of complexity.
Technology always has the pros and cons, so I cannot say it doesn't. But definitely, a Hyflex basically means a hybrid model, online, offline, which is flexible. So definitely, like during pandemic, issues were there. The main issue was technology, like Mr. Nagaran said, the technology. India as a country, is not really updated with the latest technology. The basic problem with Hyflex was that how do you reach the remote places? Let's say even in a classroom, let's say there are students who are studying in the class and there are few kids who are offline. That's called remote learning. So how do you engage the students? So basic problem was coming with the technology. I mean, at times it's just visualize a classroom where we are the teachers standing there and a few kids in the classroom and a few are at home. So the moment she starts talking or she puts up questions across to the students, a few students who are at home can listen to the teacher through the microphone. Let's say they start having a discussion. We still are not that enabled where the children at home or remotely sitting somewhere can listen to what's happening in the class. And that is where the problem starts. We are still not tuned to that technology where it can be a complete Hyflex model. On paper, it sounds very lucrative. It sounds very good. Yes, we should do it. But over a period of time, we realize that what a child does in classroom is more important than the virtual classrooms. That's the reason a lot of big companies, I won't name them, they went down, they came up during COVID, they rocketed through the sky and they have come down because parents realize that technology cannot change the physical classroom, the touch of a teacher. Why? Because at home, a child is not disciplined. He lacks that motivation. There's no one to guide him over there. The peers are not there. The bonding with the friends, the teachers are not there. So ultimately, it is definitely there's a lot of scope, no doubt about it. But the problem is that we lack that infrastructure. We are coming with the 5G. I'll give a small example. In my own house, I have a tower. I have Airtel connection. I cannot even use, I have a router on the ground floor, on the floor, so I cannot have the connection. So how can we talk about it's good on paper, 5G, it's good on paper technology, but reality is this, that we lack the basic infrastructure. So I feel there's a lot of opportunities for good companies, like just before this, there's a talk about digitizing your, campus. Yeah, I'm going to talk to him. See, it's very easy. The problem is we pay so much money to the companies for the lease line. But in my school, I have a major networking problem because I don't get connection. So how do I make my campus technology enabled? So we don't need to talk on paper. We need people actually coming and telling us that how to do networking at a lower price and how it's going to be helpful. So definitely there's a lot of scope, a lot of scope.
I think
Yeah.
taking cue from what Hardeep has said, that if you also take the aspects of urban learning and the rural learning, I think in urban area we are still seeing that still some connectivity is there,
Exactly.
some infrastructure is there. But what about the rural people and this remote classroom or the smart classroom, which actually can be taken to the village level? That can be a game changer again. Technology can be a game changer for that. I think very important point raised by you. But it's a fact that we need to create that infrastructure, be it IT infrastructure or physical infrastructure. Uh, Shazia Ahmed, your take on this, uh, the future of Hyþflex model in India.
So, thank you so much for having me on this panel with all the industry stalwarts. So, basically, I represent the new age generation where we want everything to be fast, we want everything to be efficient, we want everything digitalized, we don't have patience, we don't want to take time. Everything should happen fast and quick. So, digitalization in our campuses will be a great advantage. That's what I feel. So, what I feel is we need to have digitalization systems in place in which we have some automated systems and then some integrated systems. What I mean by automated systems is some things where the process, the everyday day-to-day things are taken care of, like say admission process, which can be automated. We can have fees, payments, and all of that done automated. Attendance that can be recorded, that can be automated. So all of this takes away a lot of time and a lot of like hassles that go around with this regular things. And then we need to have some integrated systems. In these integrated systems, I say like the GPS tracking system in our buses. So these can be monitored in real time, and we can take some decisions, or we can do something according to that integrated system. Even teaching from the classrooms, which are happening in real time, if the teacher is properly concentrating on the online, because most of the teachers are not equipped to handle so much of technology. We have fabulous teachers, but they're all old school. They don't know basic screen sharing. They would not know to show slides. They would not practically be able to do things the way they are used to doing things. And now things have changed. They have to become tech updated now. So I feel, we have to have some integrated system where we can monitor these teachings that are happening in the classrooms. So both automated and integrated systems can make a difference in our classrooms today. That's what is my take.
Automated and integrated systems. Interesting take, Shazia. Let's have a perspective from Preetham Kumar Agarwal. Preetham, I'll ask you a different question. We till now we got the perspective from the educators. What are the challenges in terms of technology or access to net technology and all those things, infrastructure. Uh, since you are part of Hello Kids and also committee member of ECA, uh, do you have any expectation from government that you want that government should come up with some certain policy formulation which can actually ensure this kind of high flex model as a rule of the line? No, NEP is there. The provision of huge provision of digital learning is there. But what else you want from government in terms of policy formulation?
Souvik, I represent a chain of preschools called Hello Kids, and we cater to a small young children of 1.5 to 6 years. With that perspective, I'll connect to the government.
Yeah, that's what I'm asking you. Yeah.
Friends, earlier to this pandemic, I as an educator even was talking about how to keep this digital part of it little away from these small young ones. 2.5 hours in a school, and to a 1.5 to 2.5 year child, when we talk about AI, machine learning and everything, we'll talk about human learnings, human languages. Because this is the first educational point for the child where he is coming to get that basic education. That basic education where the child is spending that 2.5 hours with a peer group of the same age group, where the socializing is very, very important. Now coming back to the technology which we are talking about, Hyþflex, and what is the government expectation, friends, let me tell you, we talk about an academic year of 365 days or a 1 year, but that is 200 school days. When we talk about 200 school days with the government holidays and this thing even, let me talk about Saturdays even we do not work on this thing with the young children. So hardly five days in a week, 2 hours a day, which again talks about a 12 to 15 to 20 students in the class. A child gets hardly 4 to 6 minutes in a proper day from the teacher. When we talk about these young minds, he has a capacity to reciprocate back also. And it has to be a human voice. Pandemic has helped to stay with the child which is connected and who was away from the school. Yes, but there are a lot of children who could not recognize their new friends. They have not seen that friends also. So only that pandemic period, it has helped us to keep our small part of academic intact, where we were not talking about learning ABCD and 1, 2, 3, 4. Trust me, it was only socializing which we were expecting from the young ones during the pandemic. Now when Shobik is asking about the government connect, as even Sajia talked about the same thing, the basic of PPT, the basic of using a technology has to be a part of that basic B.Ed or that early education. Even ECA talks about, I think only 1 or 2 universities in India, we are providing that early childhood education and care courses. So we need to have every university to come forward and offer these courses so that the foundation level of the child in this country has to be very, very importantly taken care of in a serious matter. Whereas even NEP now talks about after this 34 years, this thing, that preschools are the compulsory education. Coming back to my learning in last 16 years of my career, please even you can go to the Google and search for its importance of early childhood care and education. You will find something as go to images and find the people, those who have not attended early childhood education, they have given some exact percentage. I'll not give the exact percentage on this. 50% can be a college dropout. 40% can have a criminal records in the life, right? They do not have a proper mentorship, even they do not get it, even they have not attended the early childhood education. So as a request to the government, when Swavik is talking about that basic syllabus, right, to that early childhood educator who was very passionate. Trust me, the most passionate educator in this country is early childhood educator, because she is working for a thing. We are just trying to we want to use the technology in the classes or in the school, but this is really not integrated. My teacher is trained by me. Somebody else has designed my, what you call as the assessment part of it, and somebody else is giving me a technology. Trust me, we have to have that proper coordination to use it.
The convergence of siloed technology use, if I may say so. And why I asked you about the government expectation from government, because we are going to create an event report out of this event, which we are going to present to various government departments, be it state governments or government of India, so that some action can be taken based on a discussion on this event. So at the beginning, I said that this is not the end, just the beginning. We are going to take this forward as well.
Just to one point, even yes, the government has already started working on the same thing. And privileged to say that IGNU has got this opportunity to design the curriculum for the teachers and the Anganwadi workers also. So proud to say that I'm a part of that team right now. So they will be working on that curriculum part of it, so that we will try to incorporate what Sajia was talking about.
So I'll send you the first copy of the event report, so that something can happen. That was on a note. On a serious note, Dr. Hyająex Murthy, your thoughts on this, the future of India's Hyþlex model of education, or do you see any future at all?
Good afternoon. I think it's a lunchtime. All of us are thinking, are we going out for a lunch? No, let us think about technology, because technology is everywhere, all where. Definitely, we will have to tell it is Hyþlex. But again, while we connect, it is lot of addition of parent, child, as well as the generation in future. All these three things we need to think, and we'll have to go ahead. Always I get this into my mind, the three idiots slogan or about song about Sari umr hum marmar ke jeele, ab to jeene do. But where is that happening? Where is it coming up to? We say technology, is it reaching a child? Is the teacher making it happen? Is the master training making the teacher become a perfection? Yes, as Preetham sir was trying to tell, that it is the human language. Human language is more important to reach people, but reaching people, human language along with technology, as one of our panelists was trying to add up, that rural areas, or called as the areas where we cannot reach, the tribals, where I work for the tribal community, where I have been making the papers. We're trying to tell that Soligas, they are the people where they're still not understanding what is a gadget. But today, a child of 1 year can hold a gadget, play a lot of things, name Telegram, they can name it. It is happening with our children in the early education system. But to come out of it and make them understand what is more relevant is to how to use technology in the right way, as well as what is that they will have to adapt that age criteria wise, is because NEP is saying lot of policies that has come up with us, but where exactly these things can be taken up in the right way, because beautifully it has been implanted, but only thing is that the execution where we are still lacking up. But ultimately technology has to be accepted everywhere, because digitally we can reach people faster, but that faster shouldn't become fastest. That's what is the concern, because kids after teen, once they get into teen, there are, as the concern was, their dropouts, crime rates, so many other things are adding up. Where is the coherent relation? It is all about good needs, good thoughts, good deeds, which has to be given in the proper way. That's why there is something called as early education to be connected for the primary level and the higher secondary. These are the places, the firm understanding of technology use in the right way, and where it is going to make them reach, and what type of understanding that can, because see, while we talk about education outside India and South Asian countries, we're still struggling. But while we go abroad, we feel that where are we? Where have we stood? So the competency mode is still there. We are still struggling. We are 10 years back, but we are again proud to tell that we have hit a lot of places. But only concern is that fear, feel, as well as perception of thinking in the right way should be inculcated. That's what is required on the trend right now. Wherever the technology is, how much ever the technology is, feel and thinking should be right in the move.
There should not be any alternative to clear
Alternates.
thinking,
Yes.
if I may say so. Chirag Agarwal, Chirag, your thoughts on this? Do you agree with what Dr. Hemnath has said, or Preetham has said, or you have some different take on this?
Good afternoon, everyone. Firstly, thank you for having me on this esteemed panel. Yes, I totally agree to what Mr. Preetham or Dr. Hemlata have quoted. Technology is something that we've learned as early childhood educators during the COVID pandemic era. And I personally believe that education without technology has no future, but technology is not a replacement of education. Technology cannot replace the physical classroom education, at least in the early childhood education space. Play schools or preschools are called play schools for a reason, because children go there, they learn while playing. But when we are getting in technology, of course, some use of technology is advisable in every space. But when we are getting technology into a play school environment, where is the play in the play school? So that is my thought process on this particular aspect. When it comes to education, yes, during the pandemic, we did see that when the schools were closed, technology was our only medium of communicating. Technology was our only medium of spreading the education. When schools were closed, education didn't stop because of technology. But I personally feel that it is not a replacement to a teacher. A physical teacher, a person standing there, in a classroom of 15, 20 students in a play school environment cannot be replaced with anything. That's my statement.
Right. Sorry, we have come to the end of the panel discussion, but rightly said. But I think I can give all of you 20 seconds to sum up. I'll start with Chirag only, because I should balance, because last time I started from you, let's start from you. Quickly, 20 seconds to you. Future of India's education next 5 years. Over to you.
Future of India's education in next 5 years is definitely going to be phygital. It's going to be a combination of both. A hybrid methodology is something that we are seeing, which has already entered the classrooms and will be seeing in a better manner in the days to come.
Thank you. Dr. Hemlata.
Future education, I'm concerned with India. There I'll tell is it is digital, cultural, as well as the mode of reaching the world. That is what it is India taking up. As we see everywhere, we are reaching to number 5, number 8 position. Maybe tomorrow in another 50-50, we would be reaching top 1 place. That is what is India. That's what I want to tell.
Okay. Pritham Kumar Agarwal.
We'll see a tremendous growth in this early childhood education sector, be it the education system, be it the technology part of it, be it the teacher training part of it. And we'll see that more universities will be offering these courses and to upgrade our standard of teachers at the early years across the nation.
Thank you so much. Shazia.
So I would like to say the future of education in our country is completely going to be digital. We cannot avoid it or go against it. But we can never, ever bypass a human interface. That can never happen. A teacher's place, the connection between a student and a teacher, and the connection between the students, all of this can never go out. That has to be there, and the digitalization should be included with the physical education. But it is inevitable. In the 5 years, I think everything is going to be digitalized. The data is going to be in cloud computing. Everything is going to have some sort of digitalization, I feel.
We're already in the era of
We are
chat
already
GPT.
in the era, and then it's
God
just
knows what's
how
going
much
to happen.
ever we try to fight it, we are going towards it, and it is going to be that's going to be the future of education as well.
Right. Thank you. Hardeep Bakshi.
The future is collaboration. Collaboration means getting together to reach a common outcome, and in school outcome are the learners, the students. So the collaboration starts from the policy makers to the policy receivers, schools like us, to the students and the parents. Even having technology is part of a collaboration only with the school. So everything revolves around collaboration, because the new NEP is following the guidelines of the international curriculum like the IB and the Cambridge board, which talks about experiential learning, not rote learning. So there are a lot of ways of experiential learning. It all comes into collaboration, and the teachers have to be more open. We cannot shut teachers behind the 4 walls of a classroom or a staff room. Teachers have to be more open and more collaborating with the peers. So ultimately, the benefit goes to the learner and the students. So it's all collaboration around the way, technology or whatever it is.
Collaboration all the way. Dr. Samiullah, your thoughts on the future?
Future is very clear. There will be an integration of cognitive part and the skill-based learning, and technology is going to play a very, very big role in this. And finally, it will not be the certificates which the employers will be seeing. Is a kind of skill that the child is coming out with. So that's.
Thank you. Mr. N. Nagarajan.
HyＦlex will be the future. So HyFlex model should embrace proper content, proper delivery, proper connect, teacher-children connect with proper technology. And right now it sounds that it will be suitable for higher grades, maybe 9th and above or 11th and 12th. Definitely it is going to work for undergraduate program. But we need to really do a lot of research on making it amenable for lower grades. This is what my thoughts are.
Right. Thank you. Christopher, your take.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, it's interesting. In preparing for this, I put some of the questions through the Chat GPT system, the AI system, as well as answering myself. And the only time I disagreed with what it was giving me was around the human element. It gave me fantastic technical answers. What do you need to run a good digital online system? What's the benefits of Hyflex, et cetera, et cetera. But it didn't pull out the human element, which I think lots of people have mentioned today and how important that is. So I don't know whether that's an excitement about what's coming or whether that's just a sort of warning of the dangers ahead, but it's obviously something we just need to think about. But I'd like to go back to what somebody said in the previous panel. We've also got to remember the 80%, and I suppose we've touched on it here, and we've talked about rural access and things like that. We've got to make sure that whatever we're doing is answering to those people that need the education the most, because there is that core of people, I wasn't one of them, who don't need particular teaching, they don't need particular resources. You know, there are people out there that benefit from great teaching and go on and do that. And I have 2 very disparate children in their attitude to learning, and they remind me day in, day out that there is no such thing as the one individual, there's no such thing as a sort of conglomerate child, if you like.
Thank you. I'll end the panel with Godhuli's view. Godhuli, your thoughts on the future, especially when it comes to making making education accessible and how technology can play a part on that. Quickly, 20 seconds to you.
Absolutely. So our urge would always be that please do collaborate with us. Let us help you in empowering parents to be able to afford this digital journey that you are on, this path that you are on. Whatever we can do to collaborate in this would be a great opportunity and chance for us. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, all of you. I think I managed pretty okay because I'm sitting in between the lunch and the session. But thank you, all of you: Christopher Short, M. Nagarajan, Dr. Samiullah, Hardeep Bakshi, Shazia Ahmed, Pritham Kumar Agarwal, Dr. Hemlata S. Murthy, Chirag Agarwal, and Godhuli Kumar. Thank you, all of you, for joining us for this very insightful and exciting session on new paradigm of education, convergence of digital and physical education, and emergence of Hyþයෙx model. If I take a crux of what has been discussed for last 45 minutes, I can say that the future is technology, mix of physical and digital education, but with the proper infrastructure, making education accessible, and also keeping in mind that technology can be leveraged as an enabler. Technology cannot be replacement to imparting physical education. Thank you so much, all of you, for joining us today. May I request Sanghamitra Mohanty to come on stage and hand over the memento to our esteemed speakers. If you can come on stage, Sanghamitra Mohanty. Christopher Short, Managing Director, North Anglia Education. Huge round of applause for him, please. To Mr. N. Nagarajan, National Head Academics India, Global Indian International School, Bangalore. Dr. Samiullah, CEO, Manipal Academy of Health and Education, Bengaluru. Hardeep Bakshi, Chairman, Sidling Group of Schools. Huge round of applause for him as well. To Shazia Ahmed, Director, Aryan Presidency School, Bengaluru. To Pritham Kumar Agarwal, Founder, Hello Kids chain of preschools and also committee member of ECA India. To Dr. Hemlata S. Murthy, Principal Director, White Petals Group of Schools, Bengaluru. To Chirag Agarwal, Founder Director, Early Ventures Chain of Preschools, Bangalore. And to Godhuli Kumar, Business Head, BNPL 5. Thank you so much, all of you. Please join us for lunch and let's resume our next session in half an hour. Can you have a group photo of all the speakers together, please?